Hello guys, welcome to another lecture from Confiance Labs. In this video, we are gonna create slide menu in iOS using SWRevealViewController framework. So first of all, let's see what we are gonna build in this tutorial. So as you can see, this is our home screen and we have a menu button here. By clicking on this menu button, slide menu will be shown, and by clicking again on it, slide menu will be closed. Okay, so we can also use swipe gesture to close and open the menu. Okay, so here what you are seeing is not hard-coded buttons. Okay, so this is dynamic list of items created using table view. Okay, so you can add as many items as you want. Okay, by clicking on each item, I will navigate to the corresponding screen. Okay, and we will also have the slide menu on that screen. Okay, so okay, and I can navigate directly from my home view controller too. Okay, as you can see, home view controller, and if I'll click on orders, I'll be navigated to the order screen, and that order screen will also have the slide menu. Okay, so before starting, let's get familiar to few terms of SWRevealController framework. Okay, so according to SWRevealViewController framework, so this is our front view controller. Okay, and this slide menu is our rear view controller. So this is front view controller, this is rear view controller, and the main controller which is hosting both of these controller is called root view controller. Okay, so keeping all these things in our mind, let's start to implement this slide menu practically. So first of all, we will create a new project, sample menu, and then we will Google SWRevealViewController, and we will open the first GitHub link. So here's the framework with its examples, implementation examples. We will clone this project on our desktop. I've already downloaded it, so I'll simply open it from my downloads folder. So these are few examples how to implement this framework, but we just need these two files from this framework. As you can see, the extension of this file is .net and .m, so it means these files are written in Objective-C, and we are going to use it in our Swift project. So let me drag and drop it into my project. Finish. So xcode is asking me to create an Objective-C bridging header. Why? Because this framework was written in Objective-C and I have to use it in Swift, so I need to create a bridging header file, and inside bridging header file I need to import my Objective-C class that I want to use. So simply copy the name from here and import it. Now let's go to storyboard file. As I told you, to implement slide menu we need three type of controller. First one is the slide menu, that is rear view controller. Okay, and the second one is the home screen on which the slide menu will be shown, that is front view controller. And the third one is the root view controller, which will host both rear view controller and front view controller. So let's first create three view controllers. So as you can see, I have created three view controllers here. First one is the home view controller. Okay, and the second one is the menu view controller, which will show our slide menu. This menu view controller will be called rear view controller, and this home view controller will be called the front view controller, and the one controller that will host both of them will be the reveal view controller. Okay, so let's do the remaining work quickly. First of all, we need a navigation bar on our home view controller, so make this navigation controller its root view controller, and we get the navigation bar. And let's put the UI bar button item on this navigation bar. Okay, so let's create its IB outlet. In our case, IB outlet is already created. I'll just connect it to the outlet, close it. Okay, now let's make this normal view controller a reveal view controller, which will host both rear view controller and front view controller. So SW Reveal View Controller. Now it has become the Reveal View Controller. Now let's make this menu controller a rear view controller screen. Drag and drop a seek and choose the Reveal View Set Controller option. Similarly, drag and drop the seek to this controller and choose the Reveal View Set Controller option. To make it the rear view, select the seek and from Attribute Inspector change the identifier to SW rear, and for this change the identifier to SW underscore front. Okay, so now what we want is when we will select this UI bar button item, the menu should be shown, and when we will select it again, the menu should be closed. Okay, so to achieve this functionality, we need to call the function reveal view toggle of the class SWRevealViewController. Okay, so let's do it. Let's go to our home controller where we have created the outlet of this menu button. Let's go inside the did load function. First of all, we will set its target to the reveal view controller. Okay, so it means whenever the menu button would be selected, this reveal view controller will be notified. Now what action will be called when this menu item would be selected? It would be selector, a function from SWRevealController, and the function name is reveal toggle. Okay, so let's run our program and see if we can see our slide menu functionality. But before that, let me show you what I have coded in the menu controller. What I have done in menu controller is I have created a table view using an array menu options which has some strings in it. Okay, and inside each cell of my table view I have taken a label and an image view. Image view would show the image of the option, and the label would show the name of the option like home, profile, orders, settings, and same with same name I have images in my assets folder. So I'm using these names from menu option to set the image on my image view. Okay, so let's run it and test it. So here we go. When I selected item, my slide menu is shown, and when I clicked it again on it, the slide menu is closed. So the same toggle function is happening again and again. So if I'm trying to swipe the screen, my slide menu is not shown. Why? Because we haven't implemented the swipe gesture. So let's add the gesture. Self.view dot add gesture recognizer, and the gesture is self dot reveal view controller dot pan gesture recognizer. Okay, and you can also see that there's some space left between the table view of the slide menu and the front view controller. We can also edit the rear view controller's width. So self dot reveal view controller dot rear view controller width, let's make it to 240. Okay, or you can customize it according to your needs. Let's run it again and see the results. So now you can see swipe gesture is also working. Okay, and even the width of the rear view controller has been cut off to 240. So now our next task is we have to make this things clickable, and by clicking on orders I have to navigate to order screen, and by clicking on settings I have to navigate to settings screen, and similarly I should also navigate to orders and settings or profile screen from these buttons too. Okay, so let's do. So as you can see, now I have created a new UI view controller, that is profile screen. So here it's UI view controller file, and here it's .swift file. Okay, so what I want is when somebody will click on this profile menu option, then this screen should be shown. Okay, So to achieve this, from menu controller, I'll add a C to this profile screen's root view controller and choose the reveal view controller push controller option. Okay, and I'll select the SIG. I'll go to the attribute inspector and name it profile. Okay, exactly what was the name of the option, profile with P capital. Okay, so what would happen now is when I'll click on this profile button, okay, the did select function would be executed. Okay, and I can perform a seek from here. So self dot perform seek with identifier and sender would be self. Okay, because the seek was attached to the same menu controller, and the identifier would be profile. So how can I get the profile is clicked? Simply from this array menu options and next part of row. So it will automatically get me the identifier on which I'll click. Suppose I'll click on profile here. Suppose I'll click on profile. So what we get in index.row is 1. Okay, so and I am fetching the first element, the element at the first index of menu option, that is profile. So what I'll get, inside identifier I'll get the profile. Okay, so it will automatically perform the seek which has the identifier profile. Okay, and we have just created a seek with identifier profile. It means when I'll click on profile, this seek will be called and this profile screen would be shown. So let's run it and test it. So let's open the menu and click on profile, and the profile screen is shown. Okay, now let's click on the item. Oh, nothing happens. Why? Because we haven't tried any code for this menu item. So let's do the same that we did with home controller. Okay, let's create the IB outlet menu option menu button. Okay, let's go to the home view controller and we can copy the same code for this menu button and paste it. Let's run it again and see, can we see the toggle menu here now? So let's open the menu, click on the profile screen is shown. Click on the item here and we can see the menu is getting toggle. That's what we want to achieve, but still one thing is left. Let me show you. Let me restart the app, and what we want is the required functionality was the profile screen should be opened by clicking on this menu option, and it also should be shown by clicking on this button. Okay, but when I'm clicking this button, the thing is navigating me to the profile screen. Okay, so let's implement this functionality. Okay, first of all we need to create the IB action. For this, name it open menu screen. Okay, change it into action, and type must be UI button connect. Okay, so first of all let me get the title of the clicked button. Okay, the title of the button who called this function open menu screen. So let button title, let's create a variable named button title and get the title of the sender using this variable. Okay, so when I'll click this button profile, I'll get the title, the button's title, which is currently is profile in this variable button title. Okay, and we know that there's a seek with an identifier profile from rear view controller to the profile screen. So if I'll call this seek from my inside this function, then this profile screen would be shown. So let's do it. Let me go full screen. Okay, so we have to call the seek with this profile identifier which is inside this button title. Okay, so first of all we have to get go to the reveal view controller, self dot reveal view controller. Now we have to go to the rear view controller, okay. From this view controller, sorry, reveal view controller, rear view controller. From this rear view controller, we know that we have C to the profile screen with the identifier profile, okay. So let's call the function perform seek, and the identifier we have in the button title variable, and the sender would be the rear view controller itself, okay. So let's run it and see if our problem is solved or not. So now you can see I can also navigate to the profile screen by clicking on this profile button, okay. So similarly we need to create other screens like order screen, settings screen, logout screen, and I have created all these screens here in my storyboard, okay. So as you can see, similar to profile screen, I have created order screen, settings screens, and logout screen. So let's connect the seek to these screens too, okay. So from menu controller to the order screen, we will use the push controller seek, and we will change the identifier to order, O capital order. Similarly, this will be the settings screen. So S settings, okay. Similarly, on clicking on home option, we want this screen to show up. So push controller seek, and identifier would be home, okay. Now the last one is the logout screen. Where it is, there it is, push controller, and the identifier would be logout, okay. Now what will happen is when we will choose any of this option of our slide menu, we will be navigated to the corresponding screen, okay. The similar thing we want with this home screen. When we will click any of the buttons, we should be navigate to the corresponding screen, okay, like we did with profile button, okay. When we will click profile button, we will be navigate to the profile screen, okay. So to apply similar functionality with on these buttons, let's just open the home view controller. We will connect these buttons from the IB action that we created earlier, okay. Let me tell you what would happen here when we will click to the orders, okay. Then the sender will become this order button, and the button title will be order. So from rear view controller, which is this view controller, the seek, it will perform a seek corresponding to the identifier that is orders, and the seek that has identifier order is this one. So it will automatically open our order screen. Let's run it and see if our, so here's our project. I click the profile button, I navigate it to the profile screen. I'll choose here home option. I'll navigate back to the home screen. Then I'll choose here order button, and I navigate it to the order screen. And if I'll click on item here, nothing happens. Why? Because to toggle the slide menu, we have to write some code corresponding to this UI bar button, as we did in profile screen. Let me show you. As you can see here, this is the code toggle the uh, which will toggle the slide menu, okay, on click of this menu button, okay. But this won't be the optimized way if we keep gonna write this code in again and again in all the controllers where we want a menu button to toggle the slide menu. So instead of writing this code again and again in order screen, or in logout screen, or in settings screen, we will create a base class for this. Let's create a base class, new core touch class, UI view controller. Let's name it base menu controller. Next. Let's delete this unnecessary functions. And so let's add a left navigation item here. Navigation item, left bar button item is equal to UI bar button item, and first would be the title would be say item. Second would be the style. Let's name it dot plain. Okay, third thing would be the target, I guess, and target would be self dot reveal view controller, and last thing would be the action, and action would be the hash selector SWRevealViewController dot reveal. Okay, so we are done with it. It will create a left bar button item with title this, and target would be reveal view controller. Okay, and automatically this function would be called when this navigation item would be selected. So instead of writing this code again and again, what we can do, we can add this gesture also in our base controller. Where it is gone, base menu controller, there you go. And we can simply remove this code. Okay, and we will just replace this UI view controller through base menu controller everywhere in our profile screen. We don't need this code now. It will be just base menu view controller from our order screen, base menu controller, logout screen, base menu controller. So in whichever screen we want this item option with capability of toggling the slide menu, we will change its parent class to base menu controller. Okay, so let's run and test if our code is working. So this is our final app. Everything is working fine. I clicked on item, menu is shown. I can navigate to profile. I can navigate back to the home. I can navigate to settings. I can again navigate back to home. I can navigate to the logout screen. I can navigate to any screen from anywhere. So this is how SWReveal View Controller framework work. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe us, and see you in the next tutorial.